everybody. Welcome back to the Bold and Beautiful Voices. I'm your host, Felicia. And today we have a wonderful guest that I personally know. And I'm so happy that she was able to take some time out of her busy day to come on this podcast to share her story. We have the one and only Mrs. CieCie. Yay!
Hey,
Hello, Miss CieCie. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, girl?
I am doing great. It's good to see your face.
It is good to be seen and it's good to see you and hear your voice.
Yes, ma'am. So before we get started, I always like to check my guest mental health. So on a scale 1 to 10, where's your mental health right now?
I would say it's an 8.
A 8?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That is
Yes.
wonderful. So we're gonna dive into some fun icebreaker questions.
Mm.
Just to loosen up before we dive into deep conversation. Is that okay with you?
It's perfect.
Okay. So the first question is, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, my go-to karaoke song. Deborah Cox and RL, Nobody's Supposed to Be Here.
I love that song.
Yes.
What is a talent or a skill you've always wanted to learn?
To sing.
To sing. I be trying to sing, but honey, I be messing on people's songs.
Girl, they
Oh,
be talking about they want me to join the choir at church. You do not want me to do that.
look, not today, sister.
Never.
If you can swap life with any celebrity for one day, who would it be?
Kelly Rowland.
Why Kelly?
I don't know. She's just so put together, so calm, cool, collected. You don't see her personal business out anywhere. So I just want to be a day in her life to see how she does it.
Yes, I noticed that about her as well.
Yeah.
All of them, her, Beyonce, and Kelly. I barely hear from Kelly.
Yeah. Very rarely.
Anything, anything about her.
Yeah.
What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Ooh, I've done a lot, but the most adventurous one probably has been recently when I went to Puerto Rico and I went sliding down natural waterfalls
Hmm?
into the springs. That was pretty fun.
So you had to do like a drop.
Yeah, so like you climb up into the mountains in Puerto Rico, and then they have like a natural waterfall. It's rock, so you climb up the rock and you slide down the rock into the spring. So that was pretty fun.
Oh my God, I would have died.
Oh no, girl, I love adventure. I love heights. I love adrenaline. I love all of that.
Okay, cool. What is your favorite snack?
Ooh, right now this season is Christmas tree cakes. Like the Christmas tree Debbie snack cakes. Those are my favorite snack right now.
I love those cakes. I
Yes.
love them. I just ran about. I just went and picked up a pack from Walmart when I did my grocery shopping today.
I need to get some more because I'm all out.
Okay, so the next question is, what is your favorite quote?
Ooh, to whom much is given, much is required.
That is so very much true. What is your favorite movie?
Ooh. Oh, Colombiana.
Yes, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
If you had to describe yourself in words, what would they be?
Um, Loyal, motivating, and stable.
Stable. Those are three powerful words.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't say that about themselves.
Yeah.
Next question is, what's one thing on your bucket list you're determined to check off before 2025 get here?
Ooh, okay. What is it? I want, before 2025 gets here, I want to I want to go to Washington, D.C. I've never been there. So that's something I want to do before the year is out.
Okay. So when you're setting your goals, a lot of people tend to set these big goals that they can't achieve and they get disappointed. So are you a short-term goal setter or a long-term goal setter?
I do a little bit of both because I take my short-term goals, I set my short-term goals to reach my long-term goals. So that way I don't get disappointed along the way.
Yes, I was one of those people that set long term goals, and when I didn't accomplish them, like I felt like a failure. So
Yeah.
now I do a lot of short terms that will lead up to long term goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what life is all about, is setting them goals. So we're going to dive into the topic for today. Just diving into your life. We're going to dive into your childhood and early life.
Oof, that's
Okay.
gonna be fun.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you guys, this podcast was most definitely sponsored by Brown Senior Care. So you guys, if you haven't already liked Bold Beautiful Voices on YouTube, do so now, because that's where all our podcast episodes will air. So Bold Beautiful Voices on YouTube. So we're gonna dive into the story of Miss CieCie.
Ooh.
Can you share a little about your childhood and the challenges you faced?
Okay, so I think the basis of my childhood is knowing about a little bit about my parents. I come from young parents. My mother was 15 when she had me. My father was 18. I am the oldest of their three, me and my brother and my sister. I come from a like a blended family. My grandmother raised me when I wasn't with my mother. I am really, really close with both sides of my family, my mother's side and my father's side, but I'm not close with my parents. I'm in the process of rebuilding those relationships because of a lot of stuff that went on when I was younger. But I went through like neglect, child abuse, molestation, just different things like that. But being the oldest, I felt like I had to be resilient because I had a brother and sister. I had kids that I needed to raise. So when my parents weren't there and we were with my grandmother, I still felt that it was my sole responsibility. And so I did that from like I was 15 to 18. And then I left and I went away to college, and I really was able to kind of like restart my life and refocus things. And that's when I went to college, I learned how to deal with my trauma because I went to school to be a child psychologist,
Mm-hmm.
and I was taking different classes on child emotions and child psychopathology, and it was making me deal with that trauma. And I kind of started encountering, that's when I started encountering like my mental health issues because I had suppressed so much for so long that when I had to face these demons, it started to kind of like override. And so from about 20 to 35, I have been working on really healing and finding out who I am past all of my trauma and who I can be for the people that are in my life, the healed version of me, not the pretend version, but the actual healed version. So yeah, so my childhood really is what created me to be who I am today.
Yes, most definitely. So I know I speak with a lot of people that had young parents, and the grandmother usually raised them, and is the one that we always look up to. We surpass that mom and dad, and it's all about grandma. So
Mhm.
now that you've grown, have you tried to build a relationship with your mother and father?
With my mother, I definitely have. I think that in the process of me finding God and really knowing who He is, I learned about forgiveness, and not even just like forgiveness about how things are passed on generational. And I was just in my private time with God one day, and He put the question in my heart is how could I expect her to love or to be a mother when she didn't feel like she had that for herself? So I had expectations for her that she wasn't able to meet. So in the capacity that she was, in the capacity I needed her, she wasn't able to be there because she hadn't experienced that herself. And so
Mhm.
as I got older, I started to look over kind of like the generational curses and things that she went through. And it kind of made me more humble, and it made me realize that everybody's not perfect and they have their story. And so now I talk to her at least a couple of times a month. I
Mhm.
plan to go visit her down in Tampa because that's where she lives. But we're a lot more cordial and closer than we have ever been.
Mhm.
And so I can pick up the phone and I can call her, have a conversation, ask her how she's doing, see how her week has been. So that is a long way from when we were in college because it was from the time I was 16 to 21. There was no conversation. She would
Yes.
write me letters. I'm not responding. Write me on Facebook. I'm not answering. It was no invitation to my college graduation because I had so much hatred in my heart and I
Mhm.
really didn't understand. But when I really began to heal, like a real healing, I was able to say, you know what, I want to have this relationship, and not just for me, but for, if God blesses me with children in my future, I want them to know their grandparents. As for my father, that's a different story. I
Mhm.
have siblings on my father's side, and we're great. I talked to my little sister. She's back home in Kentucky. She's a teacher as well in education, and so we have a bond that we share. And then my other siblings from his other wife, so my stepbrothers, but I don't call them stepbrother and sister. We talk and we see each other and we spend time together. So there's no ill blood between the siblings, which everybody can't say that. So that's definitely a blessing. But no, I haven't, there's other things that go on in that relationship. So we haven't kind of mended. I don't really reach out to talk because at some point, you're the parent. You should want that relationship with your child. So, it is what it is.
Yes, I totally understand. Like, yeah, I really do. But that's good that you and your mom is able to be cordial, you know what I'm saying, and just start somewhere. And maybe as the years come, you guys can form that mother-daughter relationship that you always wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know my grandmother raised me, and when she got sick, I was got sent down here to Pensacola to live with my mom. And me and my mom, we do have a relationship, but we do have our bad times as well. But me with my children, I'm never gonna miss a beat in their life because I never want them to say mama wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
So, as long as you're taking the steps and, doing your part, of course, she has to do her part as well. I pray all things, come out in the best of hands and you guys can get on that mother-daughter relationship that everybody deserves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, talking about that, we're going to dive into the next question. What steps did you take to begin your healing process?
Ooh, I had to admit that I had a problem.
You did.
Like I had to realize, like, see, you need help. You really need to let go. And so, first it was really like realizing, like, see, you need help. You need to let go. It was really building a relationship with God. So, like, I have my shirt on, God plus therapy, because I needed God and I also needed therapy. I needed a professional to give me coping mechanisms, a professional to really help me, shift through the different things that I had going on in my life. So I really started going to therapy. I built my relationship with God. I don't believe that I would be where I'm at today if I didn't connect the two together. And I'm not, and I'm really big on faith. I'm really big on my relationship with God. So I encourage anybody, you know, spend that time with God, get to know him for yourself. We get so tied off into what we were into the tradition that we grew up in the church, and we miss the relationship part. And so that's why I'm so big on, I tell everybody, if you're not going to go to church, I do believe that there is a benefit in going to church, but build your own personal relationship with God, because when
Mhm.
you are able to do that, you kind of are able to see, like, why you went through what you went through, what you can do. And then in turn, I went to therapy, and my therapist is actually a Christian therapist, but that's not what we focus on. But, she's able to talk to me on that level as well. So it was building a relationship with God and finding a therapist that really worked for me, because everybody's not for you. But this one particular therapist, like, she gets me and she's real, and she don't sugarcoat with me. And so that definitely has been a part in my healing. And it really has just been me doing the work. A lot of people say that they want to be healed, but we don't do the work. You really have to do the work. You have to sit in your mess sometimes. You have to be vulnerable with yourself, be vulnerable with people around you, and you have to set boundaries. And I had to do all of that in order to get to where I am today. And just in, like, the last 6 months of my life, I used to go out a lot. I used to hang with a lot of people. I used to want to be a part of everything. But I realized that I was really hurting and I needed peace. And in order for me to get that peace, I had to kind of shut off and pull back. And a lot of people didn't understand, but it wasn't meant for me to explain at that time. I really had to get my mental self together before I lost myself.
Exactly. And I tell people a lot, people only want to praise God and all these things when they're going through those bad times. You
Hmm.
have to praise God through the good times as well,
Absolutely.
because you don't want God thinking like, hey, you only need me when you're going through things. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? What about when things are right? You should be able to praise him as well.
Hmm.
So that's something that I learned in my journey. I praise him in my low times. I praise him in my high times because he deserves to be praised.
Absolutely.
And people forget about that. And it's really sad, but I always keep God first,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else. Keep God first. You have to put in the work. And I tell people you can't depend on nobody else. You have to do
Exactly.
the work yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody have storms. So if anybody ever say that they don't go through anything in life, I'm here to tell you they're telling a lie.
Oh.
Some will announce it, some won't, but everybody goes through something. But you just,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, got to believe in God, have the faith, and you got to do the work and know that you will get through that storms.
Absolutely. You are so correct. That's the thing, knowing that you're gonna get through it,
Exactly.
and you have to. Because those days, I had those days where I feel like I'm just gonna give up. I'm over it. I'm done. But then I remember, like, God brought me through this last situation, so He's gonna bring me through this one. It's just realizing that I'm gonna make it through the storm. Just keep pushing. Just keep walking. I'm gonna
Yes.
make it through. Yeah.
So the next question is, how do you handle triggers or setbacks?
Ooh, I ooh, I just had one of those. But I allowed myself to sit in it. I think that sometimes we feel like it's not okay to not be okay, but it's okay to not be okay. It's
Mhm.
not okay to stay there. And so I was having like a really rough day at work, and it made me just feel like, it made me feel low. And then I was going through some issues with some people around me, and it just kind of made me feel like less than. But instead of trying to hurry up and escape those feelings, I sat there and I sat in it and I thought about what made me feel this way and what I can do not to feel this way. And so I just have to allow myself to sit in it. Like, to be honest, I give myself a day to go through the emotions, to go through the crying, because what I used to do is I used to just ball it up. Okay, CC, it's gonna be okay. Wipe your hands, get up, and keep on going. But after you do that so much, you're full of so much pressure and so much, anxiety. And then it takes only one thing to kind of set you off, and then you snap. And I don't want to be that person anymore. So I just allow myself to sit in my emotions, deal with them, to process them, and then go on about my day. It may take a day, it may take two, but I never take more than 2 days to really just sit in it and understand what's going on and to see another way to deal with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I know I try to avoid my triggers. Always places. So it's certain part of towns I do not visit
Mm-hmm.
because I get emotional and overwhelmed. I start crying and I get mean and I get angry and I let it come out on other people. And I know that's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
So, I try to avoid, certain parts of town, certain people, because I just don't like that ugly side of me,
Yeah.
you know. So, our next question, Miss CieCie, what inspired you to become the founder of I Am Not My Yesterday?
Ooh. It was realizing that you are more than your past and you're able to overcome it. I am not my yesterday really is just like me reminding myself that I have been through the molestation. I went through addiction to opioids. I went through alcohol addiction. I went through all of that, but that's not who I am. I am so much more than that. And I wanted to use that platform to share that with other people, to let them know, like, yeah, you had your past issues, yeah, you made all these mistakes, but that's not who you are. You have to walk into who you are. So yesterday is yesterday. And so I think for me, founding that was just kind of like the turning point in my life, because I was able to help so many women and, men as well, to show them like, yeah, you did all this in your past, but that's not who you are. If God can forgive you, then you have to forgive you, because the hardest thing for us to do is we can forgive other people, but it's really hard for us to forgive ourselves. So the
Mm-hmm.
I am not, like, for me was like, I am not this. I am not my pain. I am not the molestation. I'm not any of that. I am who God has created me to be. So let me walk away from my yesterday. Let me really heal from that so I can be who I'm supposed to be.
That's it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
To be able to, form I Am Not My Yesterday, to be able to tell your story and also to help people that's going through the same thing. And that's the reason for this podcast, because I was silent for almost 4 years and I would get so many messages about how did you get through this? How do you get through that? And I'm a human just like everybody else. And I tell people I'm far from perfect. I have my bad days too. It's just what I put on social media that you
Yeah.
see. Nobody's perfect. And if you think somebody in the world is perfect, I feel sorry for you. We all have our faults, so we just cover them up and we keep it pushing.
Hmm.
What motivated you to start sharing your story with others?
Really? I am a super, super shy person. I do not like talking in front of people. I don't like recording videos. I don't like doing any of this. So it really was kind of like the push from God. It was really me realizing or him showing me that I had the ability to help other people out their problems. I started teaching at a young age. I think I was like 21 when I started teaching.
Mhm.
And I started really sharing my story with kids first, which sounds kind of weird, but God kind of always surrounded me with kids that needed something that I had. So I was able to use the things that I went through in my past to kind of help them. And in turn, helping the kids, kind of like God opened doors for me to start helping like their parents and to start helping people in church. And so when that kind of just started happening, I was just like, okay, so let me just keep pushing because I seen so many people who were hurting from their past. And I was like, man, I got through this. Let me kind of help them get through it. I had to get past the fear of being judged first. And then once I got past that, it was easy for me to kind of walk into my purpose.
Yes. And you're doing a great job, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds.
Oh, thank you so
And you and
much.
and you mentioned that you're not used to speaking, but sis, when you get behind that podium, you do your thing. I admire you because
Oh,
that's something that I'm always nervous with doing is speaking. But you get up there, you get that mic, and you take over the room.
no, that's nobody but the Lord because I be shaking in my jaw.
And you really
I
can't
be
tell it
so
either.
nervous.
You really can't tell it. I know that last event that you had, it was so powerful. You was just so beautiful and your makeup was flawless. And baby, you slayed that event.
Thank you so
And I'm
much.
waiting for the next one.
It's coming. My focus right now really has been teens. I just started working with the teens in my church, so becoming one of the teen pastors, and my that has been my focus. But I'm definitely ready to kind of like tap back into the women while juggling working with the teens. So I'm ready for the next one.
Yes, because women, we definitely need it, because we go through a lot and emotions. And, it's good to have that safe space for someone, for we can all come together and just say,
Hmm.
hey, sis, we got this.
Yeah,
We got it.
yeah,
If you
absolutely.
if someone is currently struggling with trauma, what advice or words of encouragement would you offer to them?
I would tell them to never give up, to not lose hope, to look for the brighter side of it. Because when we're in our trauma, we just feel like it's the end of the world. But I would tell them to keep pushing and to look for the gray area. Because sometimes when we deal with our trauma, we feel like we have to be perfect. We have to get it right 100% of the time. But one thing that my therapist reminded me is that it's not always black and white. There is a gray area. So if you can get out of the black, go to the gray area where you see just a little bit of hope because that'll keep pushing you,
Mhm.
that'll keep pushing you forward. So never feel like you have to have it all the way together, but just work through one day at a time and find that gray area because once you hit that gray, it's easier to see the light.
You better preach, girl. I know that's right.
Yes.
So, something that we both have in common that we both really love that I've been watching you lately. So, what inspired you to get back on your fitness journey?
Girl, because I couldn't breathe. No. No, for real, like going back to my fitness journey, I realized so in 2020 was like when we went through the pandemic, but for me, that was the happiest time of my life because I was working out. And this last bout of depression that I went through about 7, 8 months ago, it really like kind of almost broke me. And so I had to try to go back to things that brought me peace,
Mhm.
and I had started really gaining a lot of weight, and I got steps in my house, and I was like, God, I can't get up these steps. So let me get back to the gym. So at first, going back to the gym was about just working out. But now it has become like a place of peace for me because I go in the morning before I go to work, and then sometimes I go right when I get off of work, and
Mhm.
it just has become a stress reliever. And oddly enough, there I found like a small community in the gym, and we
Mhm.
don't even say words to each other. We see each other, we just nod our head, we just say, hey, what's up, and that's it. But you find yourself looking for those people because you're all aiming for the same thing. But it really has been like a place of peace for me, sis. Like, I am so much more at peace. My mental state is so much better. I'm able to deal with my angers and my frustration so much more. And of course, the benefit is, I feel good. I look good. My skin's clearing up. I'm drinking my water, minding my own business. But it really has been peaceful. And like so many people see me in passing and they're like, hey, I see you working out. Are you going to start training again? And as much as I want to start training again, I really am using this time to focus on me so
Mhm.
I don't lose sight of what I'm doing for myself. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely get back into like working out with other people in big groups. But right now, it's really about doing this for me
Yeah.
because when you lose track of that, then you start losing track of all the progress you have gone. And I'm not ready to allow people into my space. It might sound selfish, but it's okay to be selfish sometimes. So right now, it's me. Maybe me and you work out, but as far as like training other people right now, I want to do this for me. And that's what I
Yeah.
always encourage to other people is do it for you. Don't work out because you want to lose weight, because when that scale doesn't move, you get frustrated. Work out because you want better mental health, because you want, just a better version of you. And that doesn't mean that the scale has to drop 100 pounds down. It just means that you're taking the time out and becoming disciplined and doing something for you, because in turn that discipline goes on to other places. When I
Mhm.
became disciplined in the gym, my finances became disciplined, which was really strange. Like, I thought about how I spent my money. I started focusing more on paying down my house, my car, and things like that. So, it just kind of opened doors for me to be at peace in other areas of my life.
Exactly. I know. I
Yeah.
love a good workout.
Girl, yes.
If I don't do nothing else, I'm gonna get my workout in. And
Absolutely.
I was there. I still get inbox about training. And I'm almost back there. I have one client now that I train, but I can't get you together and don't have myself together.
Absolutely.
It's just the two don't match.
No, it does not.
So from the late winter to the fall, I really just focused on myself.
Hmm.
Whenever I work out, I just leave it all there.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good. So you know the feeling.
Girl, yeah, it's like exhilarating. It's like, and you be tired, but you be so like free. It's like, oh Lord, I'm tired, but it feels good. And when you walk out the gym or when you finish your workout, you're like, okay, I did that. And then of course the reflection in the mirror always makes it extra better.
Yes. And I tell people, to everybody that's listening, your body is your temple.
Hmm.
Is your personal temple. We will never have another temple. So take care of your temple.
Absolutely.
If it's not joining a gym or going to a workout class or having a personal trainer, you can walk. You know what I'm saying? You can have better eating habits. Don't wait until it's too late to want to do something
Absolutely.
about it.
Yep. You
Then
are
you're gonna
so
be mad
correct.
at yourself. So small steps make big achievements. So you
I like
guys,
that. Yeah.
you guys got to let's get it together.
Let's go.
Let's get it together. I got a 96-year-old client right now that can do a handstand, and every time I go see her, she still shows me that she can do a handstand. And I
Right.
love talking to the older people, their knowledge, their wisdom, and the things that they have been through. I'm old soul in a young body.
Yeah.
And she said, baby, you got to take care of yourself. You got to exercise. You got to eat. You just got to, love on yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't wait until something happened to you. And I'm a firm believer of that.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And there's so many older women that I follow on TikTok and Instagram, like these like 50, 60, 70-year-old women that look absolutely amazing. And I'm like, I want to look like that when I get older. And they take such good care of themselves. And I
Yes.
was like, yeah, I aspire to be like that. So these older women definitely motivate me. I'm like, girl, yes, I want to be
Yes.
that.
Yes. So, we all have those days where sometimes we're just had a long day at work and we're just not feeling the gym.
Hmm.
How do you stay motivated on those days when you don't feel like going and getting your workout on?
Actually, I kind of I kind of have learned to just take those days off to rest, but I remind myself that I'm not going to sit too long. And becoming, as we get older, our bodies are different. And so
Mhm.
I found myself like pushing, 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 pushing. And then I was exhausted. And then I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And before I lose the love for working out, I decided that I'll take a couple of days off. So like I haven't been to the gym since Thursday, but I was
Mhm.
like, I can take this Friday, Saturday off and then go to the gym on Sunday and just allow myself that time to rest because if you don't give yourself that, then you're going to get burnt out. But the more that you allow yourself to rest, I feel like you still look forward to being able to go. So like, I look forward to go to the gym. Like, I'm like, okay, I got enough days off. Let me get back. And I think that when we're younger, of course, we can go like Energizer bunnies. But when we're older, our mind does more. Our bodies take time to reset more. So I just give myself that time just to rest because if I've got to the point where I don't want to go, then I need to rest and then allow myself to take a break and then get back into it. But I'll never take more than 3 days off in a row.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I know my favorite workouts, and I'll let you know my favorite workout. So what is your favorite workout to do in the gym?
Okay. What's actually crazy is absolutely enjoy lifting weights now. So my favorite workout is the hip thrust machine. And I
Really?
don't know why, but it like, cause I can heavy load on the hip thrust machine and
Mm.
I feel like it gives me so much power. But when I get off, my booty is burning. But I want to keep that round and firm because the older we get, the more it drop. I need it to
Oh
like sit up.
goodness, yes, it will drop it to the floor.
Yeah, I don't want it to be dropping. Like it's big. I need it to be rounded out. So I
Yeah.
love the glute exercises. Definitely the hip thrust machine. It's kind of really fun. Like, and I love it too because I see men do it and they don't put as much weight on there as women. And you can see
Mhm.
these like itty bitty women putting all this weight on there. And I'm like, get it, girl. You see these men, you be like, see,
Yeah.
load up some more. So yeah, I love it.
I love burpees.
Oh, girl, I
And
hate
that
burpees.
is so strange for me to say. I love me some burpees,
I
honey.
hate it, but
And
they're
it's
beneficial. I can do them, but I hate it.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned about that community in the gym. I have that as well. And so everybody know that Felicia loves legs day because I'm so insecure when it comes to my legs.
Girl, your
You
legs
know,
is fine. I don't know what she's talking about.
I work hard for those legs. You hear me?
Girl.
My legs, the back of my legs, and that's just my preference as
Yeah.
I age. I don't want cellulite.
Yeah.
I don't want it, no matter how many men say it's the sexiest thing on earth. I don't care. So I'm going to squat. I'm going to lunge. I am going to burpee. I'm going to do it all.
I understand.
And I remember I made a post on Facebook, and I think it kind of touched some people as if I was body shaming. And by far, do I body shame anybody about anything? I'm always talking about my personal self.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So no
Yeah.
matter how fine you think I am, if I'm not satisfied with myself, your opinion doesn't matter to me.
It don't matter at all. I ain't gonna hear nothing you saying.
It don't matter. So, if I'm self-conscious about my legs and I write about it, sis, I'm not talking about nobody else, no
Right.
other woman. I'm talking and is expressing about myself, why I do the things that I do. I'll never body shame anybody about anything.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely not the type of person that you are. So
No. I be telling people, I be like, you guys really just don't know the real Felicia.
right.
To
He's so
know the
down to earth,
real
so cool. You're not gonna do nobody wrong.
Look, to know the real Felicia is to love her to death, okay?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you. So, what have you noticed any progress since you started your journey?
So to be honest, when I first started, so about a week ago, I went to a nutritionist and I had for the 3 months I had been working out, I had lost not 1 pound. And that's because I wasn't eating right. But since I got my eating together, I have started to notice I've lost a lot of inches. But just in my energy level definitely has been up. I'm able to eat. I eat more. I eat a whole lot now. I eat more. But it's I've noticed like the change in my clothes, so it's been very exciting. Oh, my light died.
Yeah, it feels great to put on those clothes and they're too big, and you like, oh my God.
Yes.
And you know, like I know, the scale may not move, but the
Absolutely.
inches will
They
come off.
coming. Yep.
So that's all that I don't even weigh myself anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm about to throw my scale out the door.
Because if those clothes fitting loose and you know that you're making process, a lot of people focus on that weight and that's
Hmm.
where they get lost.
Yep,
Well, I've been
absolutely.
doing all this and I haven't, I'm still the same size. I mean, the same weight and they give up,
Hmm.
For instance, New Year resolution coming up. The gym is going to be packed.
It sure is.
It is going to be packed. But let's see how the gym look come March.
It's gonna be skedaddle, the same the regulars.
It's going to be looking really, really funny. So
Yeah.
looking ahead, let's talk about some goals. Can you tell me a personal goal that you have for yourself?
I want to purchase my condo. I want to move into a condo by the time I'm 40.
Okay.
So that's my biggest goal that I'm working on right now. I'm paying down my house to a point where I can rent it out and rent my house out and buy me a condo.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
What about for I'm not my yesterday? What is the goal for that?
I want to have a conference, a healing conference, where I bring together mental health specialists, just a lot of different people, financial advisors, things like that. But just to have a huge conference for women. Yeah, that's my biggest goal right now for my yesterday is to have a huge conference, like a 300 people conference. That's
Okay, that will be amazing.
yeah, something I want to do within the next 5 years.
Okay. And it can be done and I'm going to clap so loud when it happens.
Yay.
How can people get involved and support the work that you're doing?
Okay, so the biggest thing right now is I have become the team pastor at my church, and I am looking for people who want to continue to who want to help me mentor girls, and support into them spiritually, naturally, to share their gifts and talents. So when I post things on Facebook to help the youth, then that would be definitely able to support. Um, just just continue to share videos when I start posting them, share them, tag, all of that stuff, just to spread the word about the ministry that I do. A lot of things is word of mouth. I'm working on a new devotional, but it's actually centered around teens. So
Mhm.
once that is complete, purchase a devotional for your kids, for any young adult in your life, and those proceeds are going to go to the teen ministry and go back into I am not my yesterday for the different things that we have coming up. So that's just the biggest way to support me. And when you see me, just say hi and smile. That's the biggest thing. I love to be encouraged and motivated by others as well because I pour out a lot. So if you
Yes,
ever have an encouraging word, share it with me because I'm always game for it.
exactly. So for the people that wants to volunteer, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Inbox me on Facebook. I always check my Facebook messages. You can inbox me on Facebook or Instagram. You can email me at notmyyesterday@gmail.com. And that's not my yesterday, 2 Y's at gmail.com. Email me just kind of with what you want to do. You can send a short video about what you want to do, how you want to support. But that's the biggest way to get in contact with me is via my social media.
Exactly. And what's your social media names?
On Facebook, you can find me at Sequanita Vaughn, and on Instagram, it's at Coach CieCie and at I Am Not My Yesterday.
Okay. Last question. What legacy do you hope to leave through your story?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let me see. A legacy that a legacy of healing. That
Mhm.
is the biggest thing. I think that I want to be able to leave with people the ability to share their stories so that they can help heal others. That is the legacy. I want people to be able to say that something that she did touch me and it helped me heal my life.
Amen to that. And it's going to happen. You're already doing it, sis.
Yes, to God be the
Yes,
glory.
you are doing an amazing job. So I know that you have published two journals, right?
Hmm. Yeah, so it's no, it has been it's been two journals, a prayer
Yes.
journal and a healing journal, and I've done two different motivate self-motivating books. So I've done four different books.
So how can people purchase those?
Um, you can go on to it is called lulu.com and you can just search CD Vaughn, which is my writing pseudonym, CD Vaughn, and all of my books and my journals are available for purchase there. And I do have keep some books on hand. My novel that I wrote, Letters to God is I have that book on hand, and Walking Away from Here Yesterday, a 28-day devotional. I keep that on hand as well. So if you want to purchase one of those, you can just always inbox me because I have a few with me, but I can also send you the link to the website.
All right, you guys, and there you have it, the lovely CieCie.
Thank you
Thank
so much. I enjoyed this so much. It kind of was like getting back into the saddle, so I loved it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what it's all about. People always come on nervous, but they leave happy.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that you took the time out of your Saturday to come on and, record this podcast. And I
Thank you for
really
having
appreciate
me.
you. And I'm so honored not only to know you, but to call you my sister.
I know, like I'm so like that was one thing that was on my vision board is sisterhood, and I
Yes.
wanted to like stabilize that. And like I always tell you that I always appreciated you when I was going through my dark times. You were always one that would shoot me a message and be like, "Hey sis, I'm thinking about you." So that's why like you always have a special place in my heart because when I needed it the most, your messages will always come through. And even if I didn't reach back out because I didn't know the words to say,
Yes.
I always read them and I was like, oh God, people do love me. So I
Oh,
appreciate you so much.
thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. And there you